Good morning everyone. So in this video today I'm going through the books I read over September and October. So this is everything I read in the 2 months, starting off with one volume edition of The Lord of the Rings. And holy moly, this thing is thick, the writing's tiny. It took me about 32 days to finish this whole book, and it's 1,069 pages, I think. So it took a while, but oh my god, it was so worth it to read this. It was amazing, honestly. And I was telling my partner, like, oh, this is supposed to be here, or this extends like so many chapters in the book, but in the movie it's only like 5 minutes. Yeah, stuff like that. Oh my god. I mean, the details, the description of everything, just the characters. The characters are quite a little bit, not quite different, but a little bit different compared to the movie. Like, I found that Merry and Pippin in the books seem to be not like smarter in a way, but just I don't know, I guess they act kind of more mature and stuff in the book, whereas in the movie they're quite the jokesters. They're the ones that make you laugh the most and everything, because the movie's so serious and all that. So like, you need a little bit of comedy and stuff in there. So I get their characters, but there was some things in here too which made me giggle that they would say. And also, is it Gimli and Legolas? Their character dynamic in here too was really good, and I think it was portrayed really well in the movies. But yeah, some of their scenes made me crack up laughing as well. It was good. There was a few bits that did drag on a little bit, like, you know, they would go so far and then they would stop and rest, and then they'd go so far and they'd stop and rest. So things like that were a little bit repetitive, but it also makes sense. Like, this goes over a year, and you know, that's how long they're traveling for. So of course there'd be lots of rest. Of course you'd be very tired. Like, it all makes sense, but it was just a little bit repetitive in that way. But oh my god, it was just like amazing to read. The writing style was amazing, and I see why this is so popular now. And it was so good. There was sometimes though I would be so exhausted and I would read it and I'd fall asleep. I'd fall asleep while reading, or there would just be some scenes that just wouldn't quite click or just stay in my head. So I'd be reading a scene going, what is happening right now? And then something would be said and it's like, oh, okay. It kind of sums up what this big ass paragraph was saying, or this few chapters were saying. So it was good in that way too, that if you did get a little bit lost in this, you were able to catch up and everything would make sense, because it kind of gets re-explained to you a couple times in, you know, different ways. So it was good that way too. So I didn't feel like I missed anything or that sort of stuff. But like, this is like the original fantasy. It was amazing too. And I mean, everyone obviously knows the story about Frodo Baggins getting the ring that Bilbo found in The Hobbit, and then basically having to travel all the way to Mount Doom to destroy this ring, and some plot twists and dangers and things, challenges that they have to overcome. So it was very good to read, and I did enjoy it a lot, honestly. Like, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, and yeah, would recommend reading it, honestly. And it counts as my reading over 1,000-page book, even though it's 3 books in one, but I'm still counting it. You don't have to count it, but I am. And then we read, sorry, I'm just reading off a list from my book journal what's next? Alright, so I read The Peculiar Life of a Lonely Postman, translated from French, I'm pretty sure. And man, this was a very odd book, but a very interesting book as well. It's basically about this man, Bilodo. I'll put the name up on the screen so you can see it, but basically he's a postman. He starts keeping these letters from this woman that are being sent to another man. So he's basically like photocopying these letters that she's sending. They're poems, basically. They're a certain type of poem, a haiku. So yeah, she's basically writing haikus to this man, and he's writing them back, and they've kind of got this relationship going on. So this postman's photocopying these letters and then he would send them off to the man, and then something happens one day, and basically this postman ends up kind of living the life that this man lived and trying to write these letters exactly like he wrote them and send them off to this lady without her knowing that it's not the original man anymore that she's speaking to. So there's a little bit of a twist and stuff, and it was shocking. I mean, I guess I kind of seen it coming a little bit, but I didn't at the same time. It was quite like, oh, that's actually like, it's actually quite interesting. I thought it was interesting. It was so short. It was like 108 pages, I think. Yeah, it was so short. The writing's pretty big. It takes, it was very easy. It was very easy to read, to understand. But I would recommend that book. It was a little bit eerie in a way. Then we read Friends, Lovers, and Big Terrible Things by Matthew Perry. And I mean, this is quite a sad read, honestly. Like, it was a little bit hard to read some parts. It's also a little bit frustrating when, you think he was doing so well and then he would relapse over and over and over again, which is normal for people that are addicted to alcohol and drugs and everything like that. So it was very interesting just to get a glimpse of his life, especially even before he got on Friends and everything, and before he made his big break, and then after that as well, and just helping people out that also had similar addictions to him too, and ending up in rehab over and over, and just, yeah, it's crazy. There were so many times where he's like, this is it, this is probably when I'm going to die, and he didn't, and then, here we are now. But it was just so interesting to read, like getting a glimpse into his mind and just seeing kind of what he went through. And I know some people have critiqued it and said it wasn't a good book. It could be a little bit repetitive in some parts, so I can understand that as well. But personally, as someone that just finds other people's stories quite interesting to read about and other people's life experiences interesting and, inspiring or things like that, it was good to read, and I would recommend it, honestly. Like, if you want to read stuff like this as well, and then you get, pages where there's photos. And then I read The Great Gatsby by, what's his name? F. Scott Fitzgerald. And this is also another quick read. This is why I read so many books in October. Actually, I should say, I read The Lord of the Rings in September. Basically, that took up that whole month. And then when I started The Peculiar Life of a Lonely Postman, that's the start of October. So anyway, yes, read The Great Gatsby. Classic. It's a classic. Everyone knows it. Jay Gatsby basically is trying to win this woman back. Something happens. It's a bit traumatic, and it spirals. But you get to know him a little bit as the book goes on through the perspective of. It's basically from the perspective of another character, and he's kind of like watching Gatsby, and ends up kind of becoming a part of his group in a way too. So that was actually, I found that interesting that it wasn't exactly from Gatsby's point of view, but someone else's. But I kind of wish I'd gotten a little bit of Gatsby's too, because it would have just been interesting to see kind of what was going on. But it gets kind of laid out for you anyway, how he feels and everything. Then next, I read The Diary of a Nobody by George and Whedon Grossmith. And I mean, some of these books I just found in op shops, honestly. I was like, oh, that was interesting. I'll just get that. But it's literally what it says. It's just a diary of a random man that, I think it's fiction, but it seems like it's non-fiction. It does seem quite realistic. So I'd say they've gotten inspo and stuff from how these people used to live in the 1880s. So it was very interesting. Just about this man, his family, and just everyday life, working. His son comes to visit. There's a whole thing there too. So very interesting. I actually did, it kept me hooked actually. It was pretty funny. It was interesting. Don't know if I'd recommend it. If you want to read stuff like this, go ahead, but I didn't mind it one bit. It was good. And then I read, oh, this was good. I was waiting for this for ages. Reckless by Lauren Roberts, and oh man, I liked it. This went a lot quicker than the first book did. I didn't get as frustrated, like, I just wanted the characters to be together so badly in the first book, but, I had to just kind of step back and be like, no, I need to just enjoy the process, enjoy them, um, kind of going on this journey, because I think I read a review where it said that this book was definitely needed and they needed to go through this experience together to kind of understand how they truly felt and just understand each other a lot more and kind of take away all the rules and everything that they've learnt and actually find out the truth about each other, So it was definitely needed, definitely made them closer, very good, enjoyed it a lot. I did like the fact that they were out in the open again. It was a bit annoying that they kept going back to this one city all the time. And I kind of wish there was a bit more with the landscape and a few more things added and a few different, I guess, landscapes and cities. But I do understand too, so it was good. I love this book so much. It was so good. It's so good, and I cannot wait for the next one to come out. And I need to get Powerful and read that novella. Probably will get that very soon, but I'm so, so, so keen to read the last book in this series. I love it. Honestly, love this series. It's amazing. She's done so well for herself, and it's so inspiring, and it makes me want to keep writing my own book that I'm kind of working on, but we'll see what happens. And lastly, I'll do these two together because they're part of a series. I read books 4 and books 5 of the Mortal Instruments series. So we've got City of Fallen Angels and City of Lost Souls together. So I'm just reading now City of Heavenly Fire, so that'll be included in the next book. The next book video. This is thick. Oh my god. I did enjoy these books. I am kind of keen for them to come to an end as well because, like I said, this is book 5 of a 6-book series. So there's not too much else I think she can write about. Basically, City of Fallen Angels is the aftermath of everything that happened with Valentine in the first 3 books in the Mortal Instruments series, and it kind of kicks off straight away with another problem. Basically, Jace gets possessed by a greater demon, so he's kind of going through that. Clary's trying to help him. Simon and Isabel are going through their own kind of, I guess, journey. They're kind of getting closer, but Simon's also now with Jordan, who's from the Praetor Lupus, I think, and they basically come and help new vampires or fairies or shadow hunters and stuff like that, and they basically guide them so they don't end up kind of choosing the wrong path for themselves. So Jordan gets added to this. There's a plot twist with him too that I did not expect. And then Alec and Magnus are kind of working through some stuff too. So this book is definitely good because it's still flowing from the first 3, and we're still learning a lot more about the characters, and their relationships are changing and growing, and it's very good too. Like she's got a good writing style, and it's easy to read, and it's quick pace, and it's good. So it's good. It's YA, understand all that. But oh man, it gets to the point where we get to City of Lost Souls, and Clary and Jace are still back and forth with, they'll kiss and then something breaks them up, and they kiss and something breaks them up, and back and forth, back and forth. And it is understandable because it is YA, but it's just like, you just want something to happen because they just keep getting interrupted too. And then in this book, we're basically following the whole gang again, and something that happened in this book, which is a big plot twist, I guess you could say, is now causing havoc, and Jace basically gets taken again and is controlled in another way, and then Clary goes and saves him once again, and Simon, Izzy, Alec, Magnus, they're all trying to now save Clary and Jace without the Clave knowing, because what's going on, if the Clave knows about it, they will try and kill Jace and the other character that is now a big threat to them. So because Jace and this other character are now linked, and I'm keen to see kind of how it's going to be wrapped up and everything's going to end. So we'll see. But yes, read 4 and 5 of the Mortal Instruments series. So that is it for September and October reads. Oh my god, what a good few months this was. I had a ball, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But these are the books, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.